and not just study it. Good evening to everyone. Welcome to today's session on career opportunities in engineering. This webinar is organized by Agnel Charities Fr Rodrigues Institute of Technology, Vashi. Our institute celebrated Silver Jubilee in the year 2019. I proudly state that we have been listed among India's best engineering colleges by Careers 360 survey in 2021. I, Sherlyn Ribeiro, Assistant Professor from Department of Information Technology, will be your MC for today. We would like to congratulate all the participants for choosing engineering as your prospective career option and having a keen interest to know what does the world of engineering hold for you. During the session, if you have any queries regarding the admission process, the career options in engineering, post the queries in the chat box. We will be addressing the queries at the end of the session. To start with the session, we have a video welcome address by Reverend Father Almeida, Managing Director, Agnel Technical Education Complex, Vashi.
Good evening to all. A warm welcome to all the speakers, Principal Dr. F.M. Cote, HODs and Deans, faculty and non-teaching staff members, engineering aspirants and parents. Like last year, because of the pandemic situation, this year also we are forced to conduct this webinar on career opportunities in engineering in the online mode. The previous year, 2020, has been a year of unexpected experiences which has trained us to prepare for all kinds of eventualities. COVID-19 has caused economic and social disruption and has created havoc in many industries. Engineering is the key to our recovery from the pandemic situation. We all know that engineers have completely changed the world we live in, and they play a significant role in the development and economic growth of any country. Choosing a career is very important in one's life. No one person can shape the life of another. Your success and happiness depend upon your own self. Think for yourself and have a plan of life, quoted by Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, whose birthday is celebrated as Engineers Day every year. To help you to plan a successful career in engineering, we have with us today Dr. Sripad P. Mahaulikar, Professor, High Academic Grade, Aerospace Engineering Department, IIT-Bombay. Mr. Shahan Vishwanathan, Senior Business Consultant, Cognizant, esteemed alumnus of our institute, and Mr. Nilesh Vasant Likite, Chief Internal Auditor, ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India Limited, a proud parent of one of our students. At Agnel's, we always strive for quality education, and we believe in the concept of learning by doing. We are able to impart quality education because of our dedicated faculty, good infrastructure, and by the support of the stakeholders that includes our enthusiastic students. I am proud to say that our alumni who are spread all over the world in reputed industries, institutions, organizations are the brand ambassadors of our institute. I feel the eminent speakers of today will give more insight to all the aspects that I have mentioned. Let's listen to them now. Welcome to you all once again. Thank you. Be safe. May God bless all of you.
I would like to thank Father Almeida for the welcome address. To address your curiosity about what is engineering, what is the role of an engineer in a society, we have a talk on general engineering scenario and role of engineers in society by Professor Shripad Mahalikar. Professor Shripad Mahalikar is a professor at Department of Aerospace Engineering, IIT-Bombay. He is listed in world's top 2% scientists, Stanford University list, Elsevier Research Intelligence and Skytech Strategies. Member, Aeronautics R&D Board, Propulsion Panel, Ministry, Defense Government of India since March 2021. Maharashtra Governor's nominee, Solapur University, Academic Council till August 2022. Alumnus, BTech of Department of Aerospace Engineering, IIT-Bombay. Sir has received numerous awards and fellowships. Fellow, DFG Mercator Professorship Program from Germany, A. von Humboldt Fellow, Germany. Winner, Academic Excellence Faculty at National Level, IEI FCRIT Award 2021. Fellow, Foreign Experts Program for Scientific Research, China. Invited as official consultant from IIT Bombay by Turkish Aerospace Industries, Ankara. Agency for Defense Development, Daejeon, South Korea, on infrared signature of aircraft or helicopters, stealth technology. Outstanding Reviewer Award, ASME Journal of Heat Transfer. We're really fortunate to have such an eminent speaker with us for this session. Sir, I would like to welcome you and hand over the session to you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for this introduction. Actually, I'm quite humbled by this invitation, and I wish to thank the entire management of FCRIT, especially Professor Kollekar, for taking the lead role and being such a nice host, for the hospitality. And this talk today on general outlook on engineering. These are, in fact, in my opinion, open-ended thoughts. So, which means that, so to begin with, I wish to make it quite clear that this is definitely a subjective area. And as was introduced, so I would like to say that one thing which I will completely agree with the introduction, that I have been working mainly on objective-oriented problems. And today is actually this research problem, let me put it this way, is subjective. And I will take this as a challenge, and let us see whether I'm able to meet the expectations of the management, and from point of view of making, let us say, the collaboration proud. And I hope this collaboration between IIT Bombay and FCRIT is just the beginning, and we have many more steps to take together. So let me come straight to the point. Now, in this subject, because this is subjective and not an objective-oriented research, so there is a lot of gray shades. Which what I mean to say is, in any subjective problem, there is nothing like right and wrong, and it is a matter of opinion. And in most of the cases, the majority opinion is something which decides what is right and wrong, and not something which is absolutely the correct and absolutely incorrect. What happens in physical research, what happens in mathematical research. So what I would like to request is maybe to begin with, as I was nicely instructed in the morning, that first let me tell my points. And I'm sure that there are many things which many of you, maybe the participants, the administration, management, and the esteemed faculty members of FCRIT may not agree. And disagreement, healthy disagreement, critical views is the beginning of any successful collaboration, is what I'm looking forward to. So these are some of the points which I would like to mention. And these points which I'm mentioning are more like questions to think about, so that after I complete my about 15-20 minutes discussion, let us have a very open session for questions and discussion. So to begin with, the role of engineers in the society, I think we need to be very clear are the engineers driving the society, or are the engineers driven by the society? I think this is a very difficult question to answer. And it is also not correct to say which of the two is better. So of course, one would like to say the role of being in the driver's seat is better. So which means that the engineers are actually driving the society. So in fact, anybody would like to be on the driver's seat. But is it correct to interpret that the engineers are given the driver's seat or someone else is given the driver's seat? So this is a very difficult question to answer right immediately. But if at all engineer has an important role, it should be in the driver's seat, because engineering is enabling. Science is very much required. It is the backbone of engineering, but engineering is enabling. And some of my latter points may clarify this. The next point is regarding the industry perspective on engineers. And in this context, the following needs to be addressed. In industry, we have engineers. We also have managers. And we can also have managers who are engineers and managers who are not engineers. And in industry, it is always possible that managers who are not engineers are actually managing engineers. In fact, many of my classmates who are who have not continued in academics, they are actually sharing this perspective with me. And this is another very challenging aspect of the role of engineer in the industry. Now, industry runs on engineers, and when there is, I won't say a conflict, but when the managers and engineers are parallel, how does an engineer operate in such an environment is something which needs more zooming, more discussion. Next point is regarding the changes that can be brought by engineers. Now, whether it is academic research in physical or mathematical sciences, or whether it is in real life, the changes, they need to be radical or revolutionary in order to be felt by the society. And one should not say, this contribution is just another, let us say, just another one of them, like another brick in the wall, for example. Okay. So how is it that the engineers are able to make radical revolutionary contributions is something which need to be looked into carefully. And it is very well known that the role of engineers has been pivotal right from, let us say, if I'm not mistaken, 17th or 18th century, starting with the invention of steam engine. So that is how the word engineers came. In fact, the word of engineers have come from engine. So today, even electronics engineers, actually they derive that engineer from engine. And engine actually has come from the very first engine, which is the steam engine. And that is where thermodynamics plays a very important role, which is actually one of my research areas. And then later on, as time progressed, so the steam engine was a revolution. And very recently, maybe not more than 20 years back, we also had the IT revolution, the internet revolution. These are the changes which are felt by the society. How can an engineer achieve such changes? Next point is on fields in which engineers play important role. Now, engineers can play an important role in both technology and science also. So if I were to clarify, in my opinion, technology transforms or makes use of science for the benefit of the society. Now, engineers can play a role in both in this transformation and also in science, because it is the engineers who are able to understand better, in my opinion, what is that research in physical sciences which is important from point of view of producing technology that can be of benefit to the society. So the next point is, what should be the basis for engineering as career? Now, these are the possibilities. There can be monetary reasons. There can be a level in society, but in my opinion, it should be driven by passion. It is very easy to say so, especially in the Indian context, it may be difficult. So when the society may not guarantee social security, so in a typical society like ours, it is important to, of course, strike a balance. When, for example, engineering is also chosen as a career based on the societal pressure. But eventually, with time, it is the passion which should be driving the engineers and not just monetary gains or upliftment in the perception of the society. Next point, what are the specific skills for a branch and how should one go about that? So these specific skills, in fact, are specialized skills, and specific skills can be general skills. Specialized skills lead to depth, which is quite important because any individual is known based on depth. But at the same time, general skills are also important, which encompass width and gives the confidence while pursuing depth. The next point is regarding branch or institute. In case if there is a conflict between branch or institute, what should be the priority? Now, the answer to this question, in my opinion, depends on the time span. Now, in a short time span, both branch and institute appear to matter. Like, for example, a particular branch may be held more glamorously by the society, as an example. In fact, maybe let us not take any examples, so that, in principle, there is actually no bias. And the same is true in principle. In the long run, there is no bias with respect to the institute, because the individual's work over a period of time is what stands out. So it is only in the short time that branch or institute matter, because they appear to give a head start. The head start is with respect to, let us say, earnings, head start with respect to level in the society. But in the long run, none of them matter, and it is the individual's pursuit over a period of time which speaks for the individual, and not so much regarding the branch or institute. So let us say after 20 years, rather than saying that a person is from institute XYZ, so that person is good. It is not like that. After 20 years, no matter what institute the person is from, people should say that the institute is good because that particular person is from the institute. The next point, how can engineers improve quality of life for common man? Now, there are two aspects to quality. Now, what is easily understandable is quality of comforts through convenience, and convenience is enabled by engineering. But is that a true index of quality of life? So in my opinion, it is actually an incomplete, and then also comes a quality of happiness. And quality of happiness is something different. I think we should discuss it separately. So in my opinion, it is the quality of comforts through convenience is what is the role of engineers for improving partially quality of life, but there is a big chunk on quality of happiness. Next point is on startup or salaried job, how to decide. Now, a direction to answer this question is we have to look at risk versus security and a balance between the two, because our Indian society, unlike a typical Central or Western European society, may not guarantee social security. So always there is a question regarding a fallback option. So the answer to this question, startup or salaried job, should be based on balance between risk versus security. So from point of view of startup, there is a possibility of high gains, but there is uncertainty. And from point of view of salaried job, what I can say, it is not correct to say medium gains or something. Gains can still be high, but we have secure inflow. So the answer to this question should be based on risk versus security. And this should be judged based on the society in which we operate. Next point is on, is coding skill needed by all? Now, the direction to answer this is the same question, is whether soft skills are needed by all when the particular person who has specialized already has a core skill. Now, it is kind of well established based on experience that core skills are definitely required from point of view of, let us say, bread and butter. But the prosperity with time is determined by soft skills also. Now, coding skills can be different from soft skills, but even if they are not part of core skills, like for example, in professions like IT, computer science, coding, if it is not a core skill, it is definitely a part of soft skill. And then soft skills do help in overall prosperity, even if it is not a core skill. The next point is how to engage with societal problems so that engineering is socially relevant, for example, medical doctors. So in that case, we need to look what are the societal engineering problems. So there is actually a long list of societal problems, which in fact are addressed mainly by engineering, apart from the role of social scientists. And this aspect is linked with the previous point which I mentioned, is towards improving the quality of comfort through convenience. Next point, what are essential skills to compete in outside world? And on this, in fact, the only final judge is time. Success in competition in outside world, and practical approach to engineering prosperity is important. So this is actually enabled by soft skills also. A practical approach to engineering prosperity to balance ambition, to balance engineering ambition and to meet the demands of the society in which we are operating. Are higher studies needed after engineering? So the direction to answer this is we need to look at need versus aspirations. So in many cases, a person might feel the need from point of view of better employment prospects, as an example, especially when somebody is looking for, somebody is looking for salaried job. So especially when it comes to a salaried job, then in that case, higher studies definitely help. But in the case of startup, then in that case, higher studies are not necessarily needed. But even if, let us say, somebody is looking for startup, I would like to say a person who is looking for startup also should consider higher studies in engineering purely based on his or her own aspirations for further quest of knowledge and quest of clarity in knowledge. Now, the second last point, which I would like to discuss is, has pandemic increased responsibility of engineers? Now, firstly, definitely everybody, all of us regret, in fact, the casualties that have taken place, the inconvenience that has taken place because of this pandemic. Definitely, it is regretted, and the impact on the economy is also to be regretted. But it is well known that every dark cloud has a silver lining. Now, let me ask a very simple question. COVID has come just about maybe about a year back. We have been operating without COVID ever since, let us say, independence. And ever since independence till 2020, pollution is on the rise. Now, I would like to ask a simple question. Pollution is not good for the society. It is well known, obvious. From ever since independence till 2020, has any engineer come up with a solution to, instead of increasing pollution, to decrease pollutions in our metros. People have been trying to reduce pollution, but pollution has always increased with time in almost all the metro cities in our country. The moment COVID started, again, whatever are the problems definitely are to be regretted. Suddenly the pollutions in all the cities, especially the capital city, it significantly came down. After the pandemic is over, hopefully sooner or later, the role of engineers and the challenge of engineers would be to ensure that the pollution levels, as an example, are the same as when the pandemic is running currently. And last but not the least, I would like to just give a very humble suggestion to the management administration of FCRIT, that in the time ahead, apart from undergraduate education, FCRIT may also be considered as a place for further and higher education, and research done and journal papers published based on research done in FCRIT. So this goal is what leads to international visibility, and international visibility is actually what is responsible for lifting the global ranking of any institute or any university. Towards this goal, which I have written at the end, if there is anything I can do, it will be my pleasure to join hands with FCRIT. So with this, I would like to say that I have said from my side, and I'm looking forward to disagreement from any one of you. Whatever I said, if you have not agreed, please let me know. I'm waiting to take on your questions, please.
Dear participants, the dais is open for 5 minutes. So if you all have to ask questions to sir regarding this session, you could kindly post it in the chat box, or you could raise your hand. Sir will be addressing your queries.
So there is a question, what is the difference between IT and computer science? So in fact, I'm actually an aerospace engineer. So I may not be the right person to really answer this question, and maybe the members of the IT department and computer science department can better address this query. But if I were to, make an attempt as an outsider to answer this question, the difference between computer technology and information technology is the same as the difference between computer and information. So computer also includes hardware and software. So information is mainly, I guess, to deal with software and handling information. So, okay, so this is my attempt to answer the first question. But of course, I stand to be corrected by faculty members of IT and or computer science. So next question, how aerospace engineering need good knowledge of computers? So aerospace engineering needs very good knowledge of especially coding from point of view of, for example, computational fluid dynamics, computational structural dynamics, or computational modeling, because any mathematical modeling of any system has to be converted into a computer-based model for simulations. And it is by now a very well-known fact that computer-based simulations are in fact much more cost-effective as compared to actual physical experiments. Some of the physical experiments in aerospace engineering may not be so easily possible And those which are not possible are handled based on computer-based simulations, which can model almost all possible realities. The next query, is it necessary to do MBA after BTech? So that is answered partly by my presentation, that those who would like to become managers after engineering, then I guess MBA is required. What is education path to become an aerospace scientist? So these days for aerospace scientists, PhD is a mandatory. So what is the difference between aerospace, aeronautical, and astronomical? So aerospace and aeronautics, the difference is space. So aerospace is aeronautics plus space. So it is not astronomical, I think. Astronomy is different. Astronomy, as I understand, is more to do with measurement of the sky. What I think you meant is most probably astronautics. So astronautics is basically space. Then please share some opportunity in mechanical engineering. So mechanical engineering, in fact, examples are, for example, thermal power generation is one example, machine mechanical design. So opportunities, in fact, is actually the same in all disciplines from point of view of whether it is opportunity in academics, industry. So that from that angle, I think whether it is mechanical, aerospace, there may not be much difference. Then how soft skills help improve core skills? I think, in my opinion, soft skills are more of enabling, and they actually are catalysts to core skills. So somebody may argue that soft skills are not required, but in that case, core skills can be sustained better with soft skills. The next question, career opportunities in chemical engineering. So I think the easiest answer to this is career opportunities in chemical engineering, in fact, come mainly in chemical industries. In addition to chemical industries, petrochemical industries, we also have several other directions like R&D institutes, as an example. On the first one part, driver and driven, I guess it depends on quality of that particular engineer to be the driver or to be driven as per the current situation in our country. Do correct me if I'm wrong. So this is a matter of opinion. That is what I believe. Because no matter how powerful a person is, in fact, the forces outside a person are always higher and stronger than the forces within a person, because we always operate in a surroundings, and the surroundings is infinite relative to us. But at the same time, it is also important to drive the society from point of view of trying to make revolutions. So this is what actually I meant by driver and driven. Do you see telecommunication and IT playing major role while most of the companies preferring WFH? Can somebody clarify what is this WFH? What is this?
Work from home.
Okay, work from home. Okay. Do you see telecom and IT playing major role while most of the companies prefer? Yeah, this work from home concept is of course relatively new. As you know, it started only 1 year back or so. Before that, I think that concept was not very common. So, so that is after the pandemic, whether telecom. So I think, after the pandemic, whether the society will return back to the same state as it is before the pandemic is a big question mark. In fact, we can discuss that separately, because earlier what is to happen is that, people used to spend a lot of money in traveling from, let us say India to US just to attend a meeting of half an hour or 1 hour. And such type of meetings are now possible, very conveniently. So I think, and today, these days, because of this pandemic, a lot of companies are also saving a lot of money in terms of electricity bill and overheads. So, and at the same time, working from home, they are able to get the goals. So whether the society will return back to the same level, of course, it will take some time, and whether it will be the same case eventually, I think it remains to be seen. So I like to explore space a lot. So which engineering should I choose? So I think, aerospace is the best in my opinion. But if you'd like to explore space, then I think we should consider research in astrophysics. Please share some opportunity in electrical engineering. So electrical engineering, in fact, I'm not, so I think maybe professors from electrical electronics department can tell more. So the answer is actually the same what I mentioned, for example, to chemical engineering. what is better, computer science or computer engineering? So I think there is not much of a, so firstly, discipline boundaries, if they are not there, then there is not much of boundary left between science and engineering, because the boundaries can be crossed, especially engineers can also become scientists. And I won't say that, scientist immediately becomes an engineer. So, but generally, people in engineering, they can also do research in science and publish papers in science in physics or mathematics journals also. So from that point of view, I would like to say there is no such thing which of the two is better, or there is no branch which is better and better than the others. So that is what is my opinion. What is the difference between aerospace?
Sorry, so to interrupt. So, due to the time constraints and the participants are asking questions, we are overflowed with questions, and we know you will be able to answer all of them, but due to time constraint, we'll be proceeding further. I'll request all the participants to do put in all your questions in the chat box as well as in the WhatsApp group which we have created. We'll be addressing all your queries over there. So I'm thanking you, sir, for your valuable insights in the world of engineering and giving the participants a valuable and comparative analysis of the questions which they may think of when they're going to enter into this field, which will definitely shape up their careers. Thank you, sir, for your knowledge and your insights in this field. Thank you once again, sir.
Thanks, FCRIT. Thanks.
Yes. So we will be proceeding with the further sessions. Next, I would like to invite Dr. S.M. Koth, Principal of Father C. Rodrigues Institute of Technology, Vashi, to give a brief idea about the college and achievements. Over to you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, all the participants, the parents and students. I am principal of Father C. Rodrigues Institute of Technology, Vashi. I'll be giving a little input about our institute, what actually we are and what we are doing. So our institute is actually established in the year of 1994. And as already stated, we completed Silver Jubilee in the year 2019, 2 years back. And in last more than 25 years, we are here for providing quality engineering education. Our institute is already accredited by NBA thrice earlier, 2006, 2012, and 2019. Currently is also status of accredited institute. Even our institute is recently accredited by National Accreditation Council, NAC, and that validity period is 2021 to 2026. Again, our institute is ranked by NIRF in 2020 in the band of 201 to 250. And this NIRF is what National Institute Ranking Framework, which is actually the initiative of MHRD, central government. And in this particular ranking, all IITs and NIITs are also included. So this 201 to 250 is, I think, a great achievement. I think we need to see on that particular aspect also. We are offering 5 undergraduate programs, mainly in computer engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics and telecommunication engineering, electrical engineering, and information technology. We are also offering PG programs in 2 programs, particularly in mechanical engineering, in machine design, and in electrical engineering, in power electronics and drives. Our institute is also offering 3 PhD programs, particularly in mechanical engineering, electronics and telecommunication engineering, and electrical engineering. We are very well known for our academic environment and discipline, even for excellent results. Say we may be top one of the institute in Mumbai University as far as our results are concerned. We regularly get university ranks. We have excellent placements. We also built a R&D culture. Now, before me, speaker said also very clearly the many aspects, soft skills, core skills, and aptitude, many things. If you take together, what we believe in our institute, engineering education or education per se, it's not only learning those subjects. Subjects can be learned anytime. But what transformation happens in individual is more important. And if we believe as a human being, if you go on doing certain things in a certain manner for a more time, more span of a time, I think automatically those particular values are inculcated. So with that particular philosophy and a strong believer of what discipline and attitudes, right kind of attitudes saves the future of our students, we follow typical discipline, but sometimes the discipline is misunderstood in a different manner. They say very strict and all. But we say discipline is not in terms of physical discipline. Discipline in terms of work content and way of working. As at an institute, we plan all the activities at the beginning of semester, and all the records, all the activities to be performed by the students are known by students at the beginning of semester. What they're supposed to do is they will be continuously going on doing those activities and completing in time. Because that teaches them particularly how to manage work, how to manage time. Even it teaches how to manage stress. Because after 4 years, when they enter into professional field, they need to manage all this. So we believe we are preparing our students for future challenges, the professional challenges. So in that particular context, this is what we believe is essential. But sometimes this is misunderstood as what a very strict will go on doing many things, but it is part because students are here 4 years mainly for preparing their platform. And these 4 years are very, very important. It is not for time pass because you are spending a valuable time, your resources that has to be, you are getting a return. So in that context, it has to be seen. And another, already we discussed about soft skills and all, but what we do in our institute is we actually inbuilt soft skill approach in our engineering, our academic process itself. Maybe many times our students from first year to final year, multiple times they go on giving presentations. So automatically they'll be achieving those particular soft skills. And then they'll be better when they actually pass out. And then ready for what? Taking challenge of industry as a whole. So, and again, we started motivating our students mainly for participating in competitions so that they can learn many, many aspects. So we also have best or excellent laboratory infrastructure. The minimum infrastructure is anyhow it is existing, but even we developed the infrastructure which is suitable for research. The many of our equipments are even imported, not available in Indian context, imported, and they're used by even our undergraduate students. So that is the greatness which is not available in other nearby institutes. So our main strength is our faculty. We have almost 100 faculty. Out of them, 18 are already PhD holders. The 16 are pursuing. And we have set a target of what maybe 30% of our faculty should be doctorate and will be meeting soon. That is not only in terms of qualification. What is important is the dedication at which our faculty works, mainly for training students and preparing students for future challenges. I think nobody can do or nobody can come nearby, at least in Mumbai zone. I'm very proud, and I'm very proud to say that my staff is very dedicated, and mainly because of that, they don't allow any students to miss anything which is planned for them. And that is their achievement. And because of their achievement, our results are very good. And mainly because of our very good results, even placements are also we are getting more and more every year. Even we built a research culture. So we started doing research, industry sponsored research. We started submitting proposal to national and maybe state agencies, research funding agencies. Even we received one international collaborative research funding by Royal Academy of Engineering, UK, under Newton Baba Fund, where UK Leeds University and our institute and Reliance Industries were a partner. Even we worked on those. Even we are regularly receiving model projects for laboratory modernization. We are a recipient of regular model projects. Even our institute is listed as one of the institute where the guest faculty comes from a research organization, and we are allocated from ISRO. A director from ISRO is allocated to our institute, and then the scientist will be dealing with our students and delivering lectures in due course of time. We also built a research culture for our students. Our undergraduate students are also participating in research projects, and then we are kind enough getting collaboration with TIFR, wherein the undergraduate students are doing research projects, wherein TIFR scientists are guiding our students. But here it is little tricky, and then maybe students are also need to put a lot of efforts, but they're exposed to the research culture. And I am proud to say that our students are actually very ready to take all those challenges. They struggle, but come out of those particular problems. They provide a solution even to the expectation of scientists from the TIFR, and regularly many years we are doing projects. And out of those projects, already 2 students got paid internship opportunity in CERN. That itself is a great, and that is my students' achievement. I'm very proud to say that. Coming to other activities, because learning happens even while doing many things. And it is an individual transformation, as we strongly believe. And we provide a lot of platforms for students to think, plan, and do the activities. We have many professional society chapters, student chapters. For example, IEEE, IIT, Computer Society of India, Institution of Engineers, SA India Collegiate Club. We have ISRE chapter also. Other than these professional chapters, which are actually entirely managed by students' community, even entire office bearers are students. The planning of events, execution of event is done by students. Only faculty will be supporting those initiatives as guide or mentor. Other than those professional societies, we have started even clubs where Agnel Robotics Club, Agnel ARC, and AI and Deep Learning Club, which are actually again managed by students, and wherein the senior and junior, they work together. It's a chain reaction for learning. When junior becomes senior, they will start teaching juniors. This is entirely again managed by students. We only provide support and facilitation. Our role is only providing facilitation. So, and when students are working in this particular clubs, they're ready to compete national level, at national levels in many competitions. So again, another club, we have Baha Collegiate Club, wherein students create a vehicle and then participate at national level competitions. We have Aero Modeling Club, where students started modeling aeroplanes and even started flying and even taking participation in national level competitions. So some of the winners, 1920, our team won first prize in E-Yantra robotics competitions organized by IIT-Bombay. One of our students stood 3rd position in national level idea pitching competition. This is totally different. It's a business model. So I think our students are regularly winning Smart India Hackathon competition in some of the other zones. I'd given only few. So apart from this, we have even, I think, extracurricular activities also. We have 2 events. It is regular. We don't bring accidentally anything as such. Every semester, 1 event will be organized. One semester it is a IIT-Max, which we say techno-cultural festival, where technical and cultural parts are integrated. But our planning, entire planning is done by students. Only we facilitate. They have to plan the events, they have to take approval from the institute management, and then they execute that. But what happens in the process, they learn many things, how to manage students, how to manage teams, then learning a lot, even including finance, because I'm sitting there, I'll be controlling finances. They need to convince me because they need to understand even finance also. Engineers without finance can't become expert. So even another semester we have phases wherein only sports and cultural programs are dedicated. Other than that, we have literary and dramatic clubs, wherein students are themselves doing magazine committees existing. We started recently inter-collegiate debate competition, which we called as summer, because now communicating effectively is also equally becoming important. So we are giving all opportunity and all platform for students. The students only come, they become organizer, they actually plan entire events and activities, they manage all the events, even the attendees are also from students community. So recently we started even social initiatives also, because other than technical, I think social aspect is also equally important. We started Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, wherein this is actually a very good scheme. The recently, I think central government started. IIT Delhi is a nodal agency, and we also become a part of it, wherein we need to adopt few villages where our students will go and then do survey and understand their problems and issues. And based on those problems, as per the survey result, they need to prepare a development plan, and the development plan to be submitted to the IIT Delhi. And then they provide a funding to execute some of the projects if it is work. So even we are part of that particular initiatives. We also started NSS, National Service Scheme, because that was not existing earlier. A few years back we started. Here, the intention is, as far as my understanding is concerned, now engineering is reaching to villages. Earlier, it was only we, as engineers, used to cater a larger societal problems, but we left out some of the issues. Now, the future engineering growth may be in villages. The village problems will be different. If engineers, future engineers understand village problems, many technical solutions can come up. So in that particular perspective, we started giving focus on even social segment and taking our students and show them how actually village life is. That was a major initiative we started. And this is one, I think, more than me or my institute or my staff, our students are also, I think, very eager to learn. I just wanted to share this because during pandemic, there was a problem where classes are closed down, lockdown, and then where to learn. But Coursera came with the idea for giving free courses. And we also grabbed, and then when we offered our students, they grabbed this opportunity like anything. And almost all the students did multiple courses. So they know, they understand even other way of learning. I think that itself is a great. Now coming to the, I think many, they talk about only placement. So these are the major recruiters. We are not showing all here. Next. I think first I'm just giving a last 5 years average statistics. And every year, I think out of 300, 350 students, I think more than around 200 students are placed. So around 225 to 250 students are getting placed. And maybe some of these students, around 50, 60 students are going for higher studies. This is a regular feature every year. So now, even if you look into admission status also, I think the ranks are also on higher side as far as our institute. And then we feel proud that in Navi Mumbai, our institute is #1 as far as admission and everything is concerned. I can say in other way, even Mumbai and Navi Mumbai will be top 5. So in terms of admission, in terms of all other aspects, and that is actually started showing in ranking also. I think many magazines are doing a survey, and in almost all the ranking studies, our institute is reflecting. Now coming to the even passing percentage plus. If you look into our passing percentage, final year is almost 100%. And if you talk about first year, because first year and final year are critical, first year result is one of the best in Mumbai University. Nobody match our results. And that is mainly because of what the rigorous activities students go through. And that we feel proud, mainly both faculty as well as students, because both are working hard. And this is one glimpse. I just wanted to show this. Why? Because this is during a pandemic period. Last passed out batch, my around 229 offers my students got. 229 offers in pandemic period across all the programs. So this is one slide. Next slide also is there because we can't put in one slide. I said 229 offers our students received in pandemic period. That itself is great. What I can say is job opportunities are existing. What is important is how students are getting prepared, because jobs they can get only when if they have that skill sets and aptitude. And I'm very proud because what students do 4 years, more than that, what they do afterwards, because it's a life turning moment. And I am very proud of my alumni where they established professionally very well. I say proudly, some of my alumni have become professors in reputed institutes like Canada University, and who himself is a professor and now a chair professor in IIT Bangalore for electrical vehicles. Just imagine. Now in IIT-Bombay and IIT-Guwahati, my students are faculty members. I say this very proudly. And you can name any multinational companies, at least one of my students is working in that particular company. You talk about MathWorks, you talk about Intel, you talk about even Microsoft, some will be working. And many now completed even PhD and postdoctoral also. I think that shows what actually we sown seed, and that is growing in a larger and larger manner. And to over and above all this, we have even support system for entrepreneurship also, entrepreneurship, wherein we established SIBA, Center for Incubation and Business Acceleration, which actually supports any entrepreneur to establish into a business model. Even some of our students already availed this particular facilities. It is within the campus under the FCRIT tag. I think many students can avail this also. With this all, I would like to say a few things and conclude. I think if you all agree, maybe Sir Maulikar sir also said very clearly, those who are now 50, 55 years of age, they faced one challenge, particularly the technology challenge. Earlier, there was no computer. But computer played a role, major role in changing business environment, or digital technology or IT has changed entire business transformation act. That we seen and then seen those challenges, accepted those challenges and proven ourselves. Now the next generation is going to face another technology challenge that is mainly in terms of at higher level, higher intelligence. Artificial intelligence will play a role in almost all the branch. People talk about specifically computer. I don't believe in that. If you look into currently, either in electronic systems or mechanical system, already IoT and artificial systems are inbuilt. So all engineers need to learn those. Some minimum basic skill sets are required. And then very important is aptitude to learn new things by themselves and adjust to the required changes required in our life. Adaptability is going to play a major role. I think what I can say to all new aspirants who wanted to become engineers, you need to focus on two aspects: right kind of attitude, right discipline, and adaptability are going to play a major role for your success. Choose any program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. For the brief introduction about our college, Father C. Rodrigues Institute of Technology, and highlighting our achievements and the college life the students will have at FCRIT. Next, as James Finch said, the engineers has been and is a maker of history. So we have the next talk on engineers, future shapers, which will give you an idea of how we as engineers shape the future and mark history. We are really proud of all our students and their achievements. So today we have here with us Mr. Shan Vishwanathan, alumnus of our college from the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication, a management graduate from the Indian Institute of Management, Ranchi, Mr. Shan is currently pursuing his interest in digital transformation and technology space at Cognizant Business Consulting. He has led the digital transformation of recruitment at ICICI Bank by creating a unified and integrated service architecture based on machine learning, artificial intelligence, and NLP. He worked extensively on enhancing customer experience, chatbot design, cloud telephony, customer retention through personalized communication, and stakeholder management. He's also passionate about product design, marketing, branding, and content design. While at IIM Ranchi, he served as a senior executive member in the corporate relations and placement committee of the institute, thus establishing relationships with CXOs of top companies. He has a keen interest in teaching, and prior to pursuing MBA, worked as a lecturer of digital image processing and digital communication in our institute. We're really pleased to have you here with us, Mr. Shan. I would like to welcome you and hand over the session to you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Can you please confirm if I'm audible and visible, and my presentation also is visible?
Yes, you're audible, you're visible, and your presentation also could be seen.
Thank you so much. Truly humbled to get this opportunity to interact with all of you. And I must thank everyone at Agnel's who considered me apt for coming here and interacting with all of you. Also humbled by the introduction that you've given. So when I was asked to speak on this topic of how engineers are shaping the future, I thought this entire journey for shaping the future starts from a single step of actually stepping into an engineering college and then understanding what your options are and going through the rigor of 4 years, and then finally trying to step out and not just imagine or visualize the future, but actually to go ahead and create it. And a lot of what you'll be seeing in this short presentation, I have about 15 minutes, is drawn from my own personal experiences at Agnel's and the life after that, both in the academic as well as the professional circle. So let's get into it. Like I mentioned, it starts with a single step of actually seeking what you want, and then towards finally shaping it. There's a lot of opportunities in the market today, whether it's in the space of information technology, digital transformation, the core fields of mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electronics and telecommunication. Everything that you see around you today is eventually has a platform in engineering, and that's where all of it starts. But the point that I'm trying to drive here is you need to understand what are your options, and for that, the right kind of environment, the right kind of platform is very, very important. And a lot of it was touched upon in the previous session, where and how Agnel's provides this kind of environment. But just from a completely, taking a holistic point of view from a neutral perspective, if you have the right kind of environment, only then will you be able to develop yourself, your own skills, and finally be in a position to try and create the future. And Professor Shripad also touched on this earlier, that today there are jobs in the market, there are skills that are in demand which cut across lines of engineering. So in a long term, it really does not matter whether you have graduated from IT or Com Science or EXTC. Yes, of course, it helps when you try to make your mark. But over a period of time, you need to have an understanding of everything that is happening across all these spaces, and only then will you be able to make some real impact. And like you would have heard in both the sessions earlier, the focus needs to be on learning and also experimenting. I think these are two key facets of the entire educational as well as professional journey as you go through. Now, engineering might seem intimidating, but this is where the attitude with which you approach the engineering, the 4 years of engineering, will really matter. And I thought, what are my three key takeaways from the 4 years that I spent at Agnel's? And this was from 2008 to 2012. I graduated in 2012 from Agnel's. And looking back, I thought, the most important thing, since it's a field that relies on knowledge, technical expertise, or the core skill of whatever stream you're in is absolutely key. And without that, it's not going to be easy to survive. So understanding the concepts, asking as many questions. I remember a professor of mine had told me, you need to be shameless to go and ask whatever questions you have in mind. And the worst question is one that you don't ask. So only then will you be able to build your technical expertise, the core skills of whichever stream you're in. Second, I think what is also important to, like I mentioned, this is drawing heavily from my own experience, and this is the journey that I chose for myself. But yes, the amount of time that you invest in developing your own personality, whether it is soft skills, whether it is your communication, your articulation, your thought process, any extracurricular activities that you do, there's always a lot of learning to take away, and it's equally important to indulge in all of that during the 4 years of engineering. And I'd like to share my experience here. When Dr. Khoth was mentioning about ETAMAX, I personally worked with him when I was in Agnel's, because I remember I was part of the student council, the general secretary at that time, and it was a tremendous learning experience, because every word of what Dr. Khoth said was true. In addition to the core learning of the subjects, I think that held me in a very good stead over the next few years. And while we're doing all of this, it's very important to have an understanding or an acumen of how whatever you're doing is going to impact the business, or rather the society at large. Because everything, like I mentioned, and it's there in the next few slides as well, a lot of areas that impact society have their foundation in engineering. So while we go through the 4 years, I think that's very important. Another thing that I myself faced, and I see a lot of students these days, don't really indulge in career research themselves. They could be, it could be because of peer pressure, because of parental pressure, or just the way things happen, that they end up in a particular stream. And I was reading a report from one of the consulting firms on the education system in India, where only, rather 74% of students who eventually end up pursuing a graduation course have not done research themselves, and have either gone for that particular course due to extrinsic factors. And the other way to look at it is just 1/4, 26% are actually possibly pursuing what they want to do. So it's very important to understand your career options, understand the areas that interest you, read up about those areas, and then work towards developing those profiles when you finally want to make an impact in those areas. I was reading the chat questions earlier, and someone posted a question: how do you get a job in Amazon or Google? It's a great dream to have. It's something very good to strive for, but you need to understand how do you get there, and first be in a position to even think of dreaming that, and then work your way backwards in terms of the education, in terms of everything extra that you're doing, because whether it's a matter of pursuing a higher education, higher research, or working in the corporate world, you need to stand out. And these are the activities that would help you make your mark. And while I'm at this, there are two things in particular that have helped me a lot, that I take away from Agnel's, and I intentionally did not put it on the slide because I wanted to lay particular emphasis on this. Two things, and Dr. Khoth mentioned one of them earlier, and I'll reiterate: discipline, absolutely necessary. And whatever field you're in, without your daily discipline, without a proper work ethic, it's not going to work. And the other is time management. These two things, I learned these at Agnel's, some of them in a hard way, but I think these are the two things that have helped me most in my career since then: time management and discipline. So moving forward, we also spoke about earlier about adaptability, and I think I want to touch upon that as well. The world has been changing so dramatically, and the skills that you see today, whether it is digital transformation, whether it is machine learning, artificial intelligence. All of these were probably not even thought about, say, a couple of decades ago. And there has been such a drastic transformation of skills that are in demand today. And we don't know what would be the skills that would be in demand, say, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. So it's very important to keep upskilling yourself and keep up to date with whatever is happening in today's world. And I think by reading up regularly about what is happening, by being aware of the education system, the entire ecosystem around research, around the work that different organizations are doing will help you in this. Today, also, the lines of work have been blurred. And if your aim is to make a mark in the corporate world, you need to not only, like they say, you need to not only be the jack of all trades, you also need to be the master, because you can't possibly think of succeeding, say, in an IT organization if you don't know what the other lines are doing. So it's a heavily blurred kind of corporate ecosystem that is there today. And while we start with the basics, if you want to grow, you'll have to accept and learn new skills every day. And even the work environment, we spoke briefly earlier about how the pandemic has changed the way organizations function today. Not just organizations, even educational institutes have gone a massive transformation in how lectures are conducted and how education is actually imparted. And there is a very common term that we use, especially during my MBA days. It was called VUCA, which basically stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And I think today the world is anything, is absolutely VUCA in that sense, which needs constant adaptation. Once that is done, of course, what is your career calling? Like we've mentioned, there are applications of engineering everywhere, right from the corporate world to the startup world. The government is heavily invested today. Our government is heavily invested in infrastructure and manufacturing, again, the basis of which is engineering. India predominantly has been an agricultural country, and agriculture, manufacturing are the two key backbones of our economy, of course, contributed by IT, banking, and other sectors. So what is your calling? This is what you'll have to figure out, and engineering helps you to do that. And that is what I've realized over the last few years. And a lot of you might know, who is this whom I've put on the screen. And one key takeaway, apart from all that I've shared with you, is that if you haven't experienced failure, you really are not on the right path to success. I'll probably go out, and make that statement, because failure helps you to learn so much more than success. And the reason why I put Jack Ma's photo here is a very famous story, and I'm sure all of you would have heard it, but maybe I'll just share it with you again because it is worth sharing. Jack Ma is the founder of Alibaba, leading e-commerce company, which has basically changed the way people buy. But what all of you may not know is that after college, he had applied to 30 jobs, got rejected by all of them. He even applied to KFC, and he was, I think there were 24 people who had applied to that particular job in KFC, and he was the only one who got rejected. The same happened with him when he had applied to be a cop, a policeman. But look where he ended up today. And there are so many such examples. I could give you numerous such instances, but this is one that I thought I'll share. And it's very important not to be overwhelmed by the emotion of failure. I've had my own share of failures, both in Agnel's as well as beyond. But I'd like to think the learning from failures is way, way more than what you learn from success. And it's very important also to have role models who would inspire you. And I'm not going to go through the names that you see on the screen because you would know them. All of them are engineers, but have done some tremendous work in the field that they chose to, something that impacts the society, the country at large. and has a much larger cause to their work. So it's very important to have such role models that you look up to, but always remember each one of us is unique, and we craft our own journey, our own story throughout our lives, and it could be anything. But like Professor Shripad also mentioned, the driving force must be passion. And once you're passionate about what you're doing and pursuing that, I think everything else just falls into place. So these are a few things that I thought would help in going through the journey of right from seeking what you want to do to finally shaping the world. And I think this journey never stops. The value that you keep adding to yourself, your institution or your organization, and the country and the society at large is what finally matters. And I must say that the things that I have learned at Agnel's and beyond that as well have helped me understand and realize the larger purpose of why engineering and how it helps all of us. So those were my 2 cents about my journey, my experience. It would be great if it helps you in your journey. If there is anything that you want to know more about, you can reach out to me. I'll be there. And I wish all of you the very best. And over to you, Shalini. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Shant, for the practical insights from the perspective of students' life as well as a professional viewpoint. I hope the participants will be really enthusiastic and have a positive confirmation for their career of being an engineer. The next talk is about FCRIT, a parent's perspective. We have with us today Mr. Nilesh Vasan Likhite, a proud parent of a student, Ms. Maitri. Ms. Maitri has completed a Bachelor in Engineering in Electronics and Telecommunication at FCRIT Vashi in 2020 and will be pursuing her MS in Electrical and Computer Engineering at University of South California, Viterbi School of Engineering, Los Angeles. Mr. Likhite started his professional journey with a firm of chartered accountants and then worked with reputed companies like Reliance, ACC, and Vadia Group before joining his current company, ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India Limited, as Chief Internal Auditor. Mr. Likhite has an experience spanning over 25 years. He is on the Board of Governance of Bombay Chapter of the Institute of Internal Auditors. Mr. Nilesh is an active Rotarian and past president of the Rotary Club of Thane Hills. Through his association with Rotary, he has participated in many noble community service activities and projects. We are really pleased to have you here with us, and I would like to welcome you and hand over the session to you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Charlene. Friends, it's an honor to speak at the institute where my daughter has achieved her educational laurels, as I can say. And I want to thank FCRIT and Dr. Megha and Dr. Mini to take all these efforts and giving me this opportunity to speak before you. But while at this juncture, this is a bit difficult time, being already the weekend at its peak, and Charlene and the management is asking all of you to listen to an auditor whom generally people don't like to hear. But this is an opportunity to talk something which is in a positive mode as against my profession, where we generally talk about the things to be done or things not done in a right manner. But here, friends, when I looked upon the 4 years which Maitri has invested in this institute, I really feel that there is nothing which I can really point out. And also, I want to thank all my earlier speakers, particularly Principal Khoth and Shahan, the past student, because he has made my life, both of them have made my life very simple by already narrating most of the things which I have pointed out to speak. Nevertheless, friends, this is a perspective from a parent, which I was seeing Maitri for all the 4 years. And, all these 4 years in a one simple sentence, I never have to ask her that, do you face some difficulty, or there are any challenges, or are you facing any difficulties with your studies and with the professors? So nothing of this sort. So if I don't have to ask this question to my daughter, who was a student of this great institute, I think we all are in a very, very safe hands of a very matured institute, which is getting laurels and laurels over 25 years. See, if any institute is grown and is kept growing, and I'm sure it will grow for over 25 years, it means it has a very, very solid foundation. So none of the institutes can be built on a weak foundation. So the foundation itself is very strong, and it is built with a clear intention of doing good for the society through providing best of the possible education, and staying tuned with the requirements of the society and the industry and the economy in which we operate. So when I just start, I will just, as a parent, I would like to see that whether the college is convenient to reach. So that's, yes, it is in Vashi, which is very, very centrally located, easily accessible through all modes of transport, and has a wonderful ambience, a lot of greenery. You don't feel like you are in a educational institute. A lot of positive mindset it creates when you have a good ambience. And, the most important thing for a student to remain in the college and don't venture outside is the positive atmosphere and the aura which this ambience creates. And that is really a wonderful thing. And another thing which Dr. Khoth also touched upon is the discipline. So this is a very disciplined institute, and discipline it is not enforced on the student, but it is practiced, and by that practice, the batches after batches are getting tuned to it. That is what my feeling is, that generally the new joinees see what their seniors are doing, and that's how the culture is built. And this culture is then converted into a discipline. So it has become a habit of this institute to be disciplined. And, of course, when we mention about some discipline, there will be some negatives, like all our fingers are not same. So all students will not be same for sure. But most importantly, we all are connected with the head of the department through a WhatsApp group. And in that WhatsApp group, Dr. Milind, the HOD of EXTC, was very, very particular in very transparently mentioning what is needed. And the list of very few defaulting students will be there, but that list will be put on that WhatsApp group for the parents to know that what their ward is up to. And the intention is not to insult, but there was a serious attempt, and basically the serious attempt to upbring that student to the level of others, so that whatever these kind of small negatives are there, they are also worked upon. And also the results, as soon as they are declared, they were put on the WhatsApp group. So, we don't have to ask the student what was the result and all this thing. It was very, very clearly laid down. There is a requirement of 75% of the attendance. That is the minimum requirement. And there is a kind of a grace, or I can say, a carrot in terms of getting the marks for 90% and above attendance, with most of the students must be earning. So this is what a parent requires. If being in the corporate world, what I always experience is If I don't have to follow up with my junior, or if my senior doesn't have to follow up with me, then the things are in right shape. So when I link this to a parent-child relationship, if I don't have to, continuously see whether the studies are on, whether the timings are being followed, and, I have to follow up with my daughter. If I have to do that, then I think we are in the wrong. But as I mentioned in the beginning, that was a no-no for all these 4 years. Again, Dr. Koth mentioned on the quality of the education, and the quality of the education is brought through the quality of the professors who are investing their time and taking tremendous efforts in keeping that level of education high. And that level of education is kept high because they themselves are continuously upgrading. And as we see, most of them are doctorates. And for a person of my stature, who is not a doctorate and thought of going for a doctorate, I know what it is to be first of all getting into it and finally becoming or achieving that doctorate degree. It's quite tough, but here we are many, and that is why the quality of the education is continuously kept at the highest level. When we talk of the quality doesn't only come with only the qualifications of the professors, but it is also coming with a very, very interactive and helpful approach towards the students. The interaction and bonding with the students is such that the children are the students are always open to meet the professors, and professors are open to resolve all the queries by taking extra lectures, by investing extra time. And that is why we see this cumulative result of this institute. When Dr. Koth was mentioning about the laurels, where the students are every year who are getting passed out, and also the levels at which the students, the past students have reached in the industry, in the research field, and at all the levels. Friends, I am continuously referring to some or the other of my earlier speaker because they have touched upon these points. It's not that I am repeating it, but I am just putting it in the perspective that as a parent, we should also be looking at not only the good education, but whether the student is getting a right education, or our child is getting a right education. Now, what is right education is can be seen around us, that what is going around us and where probably it will be going. So, here I would congratulate the Institute for taking the initiatives of the Agnel Robotics Club and AI and Deep Learning Club, and also the many initiatives the college has taken. So when I am in the industry, there is a lot of talk of, what will happen to the people when machine starts working. But I firmly believe that that is not the thing. There will not be a higher level of unemployment. And we will think that, if the machine is going to do the work, why our people should go into engineering and kind of thing. And also the very hardcore lines of engineering like mechanical, electrical, and instrumentation, when everything will be replaced by machine. So friends, let me put my view over here. It is not the work which is getting out of action. The mechanical work is still done mechanically. So only thing is that the person who is doing is getting changed. So instead of person who is doing it, who was on the shop floor, who was on the field, they are getting replaced by robots. But who will make the robots? So the focus of education will shift, And the students, instead of like a hardcore mechanical engineer, the person will be a mechanical engineer with this education of AI and RB2. Because finally, we have to make the machines to learn. We have to make the machines intelligent. So it is only the focus or the shift is only in the skill set. Okay. Earlier, we were acquiring the skills to do the work physically, whereas we are now acquiring the skills to make the robo work the physical. So we should not think why engineering and all these things. In my opinion, engineers have built the nations. In wherever it comes, in any field of, something has to be manufactured and the engineering vehicle. So from the smallest of the thing till wherever we have reached in the space and beyond, and in the national security levels, or the complex of the industries, or where the large commodities are built, everywhere there is a need of engineers, and that will continue. So this is the core of economy, I can say, and it will never die. Now I will also touch upon a social side of our institute, and I will mention one professor, Dr. Pranali Chaudhary. I don't know whether she is here or not. She is really taking a lot of efforts in promoting an initiative called SEED, SEED, which stands for Sustainable Ethical Environmental Development. So friends, this is the right age of students to get into even this thing and start knowing their responsibilities towards the society by contributing to the society, and also contributing to a self in terms of how to remain ethical in all our parts of life, and not to get unnecessarily have a darkened face because of some wrongdoings. So these initiatives, if they are imbibed in the minds of students at this age, I think we will have a great country going ahead. In everybody, the youngsters and the coming generation, thinking very seriously about the sustainability, about the ethical behavior, and about the environmental needs, which are quite challenged at this point of time. And along with this, the college is continuously conducting events on e-waste collection and safe disposal, the fire safety workshops, and also helping the underprivileged students in their studies. So these are the service-oriented aspect of this education, which is really great. And I salute the people who are involved into this. Friends, all of us will finally be worrying about what next, because if we keep reading in the newspapers that IITs and IIMs are attracting a lot of basically good institutes for the campus hiring, and who will be coming to FCRIT, for example. But again, there we have a lot of laurels. We have companies like TCS, who is the world's largest software company, L&T, the very, very large engineering company, L&T Infotech, and others like NSCIT and Select Controls. These are the very, very notable companies who have picked up the students because they are convinced that the right talent is in FCRIT. Doctor has already mentioned about the numbers, so that is quite appealing number, and it shows the overall strength of the institute in upbringing of our children in terms of right education, building a right mindset and right attitude, and get ready to face the today's world challenges, and finally make our country nice, talented country. And I'm sure with more and more such laurels coming out of this great institute, finally our country will be in the safer hands and in the hands of research scientists and experts. So with this, friends, I congratulate the management of FCRIT and wish them all the best in building up our nation. And for any help which I can do individually, I will always be with FCRIT. And I would like to continue my association with FCRIT in going further times as well. So thank you very much. And lastly, before I conclude, a one-liner for our achievement of our great nation, that while we were in this conference, India has won the gold medal through Neeraj Chopra in javelin, and wonderful achievement. So again, a great laureate to our nation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Megha and Dr. Mini and Dr. Koth for this opportunity. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Likhite, for sharing the positive experience of you and your daughter, Ms. Maitri, at a college, Father C. Rodrigues Institute of Technology, and highlighting the viewpoint of a parent. Dear participants, kindly note a feedback form is posted in the chat box. Kindly fill it in. We have certain questions or queries which you had sent it across to us, and we'll be answering few of them for you all. So the first question is, please tell us about all the options available to choose from engineering background and how to prepare for each. Also guide on whether to choose higher studies or job after graduation. I would request our principal, Dr. S.M. Koth, to answer this query.
I think pursuing higher education, particularly the interest of the student, is very, very important, and inclination. So in that particular sense, they should understand after graduation what they wanted to do. And then 4 years during that particular time, they may realize while working on their studies, they may realize what is actually their interest is. Once they understand their interest, I think everything will go smoothly. But what personally I suggest is, if they can work personally 1 or 2 years after the graduation and maybe confirm what they wanted to do in professional life. And once that confirmation comes through that, I think they can start thinking about choosing particularly higher studies. Maybe in higher studies, many domains are there, multiple domains. Even if you talk about either electronics and telecommunication, or even mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, various higher studies specialized domains are there. Which particular domain to be chosen? That decision may come only when they experienced working in professional life. And with that particular point in mind, I feel after working 2 years, they can think about masters. That will be better. But if anyone has very particular about their future, they wanted to do only in this domain. We were having one student like that, and he is now faculty in IIT-Bombay. We wanted to pursue only in computational dynamics. So he started his career. He was not worried about other domains. So he was focused, very clearly focused. And then he did masters and PhD in that particular domain only. And even postdoctoral also in the computational fluid dynamics. So after that, he came and became here faculty in engineering of IIT-Bombay. So if anyone has that clarity, then you can begin even directly. And if you are little doubt, then you can work for a few years, understand what you wanted to do in future, and then accordingly you can develop your specialization. I think one student again put a chart. I think I'm just taking a liberty. Career opportunity in electrical is asking. I just wanted to answer without taking permission by the other. Electrical engineering is changing drastically, and even automotive system is also changing. Earlier, automotive system is driven by IC engines, and now we are talking about electrical vehicles, and the government of India has a set plan. By 2030, majority of vehicles will be converted into electrical vehicles. And not only electrical vehicles, even if you talk about today's lighting system, home systems, everywhere electrical engineers are playing a role. I think they have a bright future. I think, but again, the job profile may not be like earlier working in the power generation companies or something. I think you need to think about more on emerging areas. So, and another very important aspect is conventional companies may remain or may close down. Maybe new type of companies may come up. I think one should understand that what is required to play a role in new environment. I think they should understand that particular aspect and prepare accordingly. Electrical, in my opinion, has a bright future, mainly because of what it is bringing with electrical vehicles. And because when you talk about electrical vehicles, charging systems is again a major challenge, and that opens up the entire market. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. Next question is there any scholarship for open category students? Candidates whose family income is less than 8 lakhs can apply for EBC scholarship. Professional bodies like IEI also give scholarship to meritorious students. How much 12% is required for general category? PCM, you require 50%. Admission procedure under minority quota through centralized admission process. What is the process of admission in engineering? Admissions will be conducted based on the merit of competitive exam. 80% admissions are online mode conducted by Admission Regulation Authority. Schedule for the same will be displayed on CET cell website after the CET results. 20% admissions are offline mode. Interested candidates may contact our institute, Father C. Rodrigues Institute of Technology, after the CET results. Next, we will proceed with the vote of thanks. As Cicero said, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. I'm delighted to have been given the pleasant opportunity of delivering the vote of thanks. I would like to thank Reverend Father Almeida for the welcome address and the team behind the recording of the welcome address video. I express my sincere gratitude to our principal, Dr. S.M. Cote, for his constant support and advice, which has led to the smooth conduction of this webinar. I would like to thank all the esteemed speakers, Professor Shripad Maholikar, Mr. Shan Vishwanathan, Mr. Nilesh Likite, for accepting our invitation and being a part of the webinar to share the experience and knowledge. Thank you to all the organizing committee members, teaching, non-teaching, and administrative staff who have worked really hard during the course of time to make the event happen. Thanks to all the participants, and I hope to see you all as a part of the Agnel family. We, the Agnel family, hope to be the part of your dream of being an engineer. Dear participants, there are some questions in the chat. Our principal, Dr. S.M. Cote, will be answering them for you all. Over to you, sir.
I think one question is about what is the difference between computer and IT. So I don't think any difference as far as Indian context is concerned, because the same set of companies are recruiting both the students. So in both computer and IT, what matters is what are your skill sets, what capabilities you develop during next 4 years of your engineering studies. I think that matters most. And even somebody raised a question saying in top Microsoft, Google and all, how they recruit. Actually, their recruitment process is totally different based on your achievement, your credentials. If you go on working, proving yourself through the competitions which you are participating, the entire world is watching you. And based on your performance in those particular competitions, they may send directly invite for the interviews also. I think that is entirely based on your achievements. And if you can start working from day one, focus and say do your projects more effectively and contribute and compete at a national level competitions, particularly Smart India Hackathon or any other competitions organized by maybe. When I think another recruitment trend is now developing across companies, or mainly they conduct their own competitions. They identify talents existing in the students through those competitions. If you go on participating in those competitions, you'll be identified, and if you are a winner, directly you may end up getting a job. So those initiatives are also started by some of the companies. So other than that, I think even electronics and telecommunication was one question raised. So I can say very clearly, I think if you are in a core, electronics or electrical or mechanical, you can easily end up getting job in IT industry also. But again, you are open to work in any core companies. So your horizon will be on higher as compared to only working only job opportunities in IT industry per se. Electronics and telecommunication is highly integrated with IT industry, and particularly in terms of what hardware. Even now we are talking about cyber security, and some extent cyber security is already established in digital manner. There will be a competition. There will be hackers. They may find some new way of doing, and then maybe a solution provider. There will be competition, but some extent already development has taken place. But when it comes to hardware security, I think there is yet not a major work is done. Not established standard practices are available. I think there are a lot of opportunities even in those particular dimensions also. And when you talk about artificial intelligence, IoT, I think everywhere those will play a role. Even IoT and artificial intelligence, electronics and telecommunication students more effectively can work. That's what I wanted to say. And one more question I saw in a chart that is mainly about direct second year they're talking about. But direct second year, we have only 10% seats of intake capacity. For example, if we have 120 intake capacity, 10% is 12 seats. And all those 12 seats will be filled through centralized admission process by DTE. So as far as 60 intake is concerned, only 6 seats. And cutoff are available in our even websites. And if you need, you can contact our institutes. All the details will be available as far as cutoff is concerned. But cutoff direct second year is on higher side, around maybe above 80%. So another general category fee is, I think somebody is asking, as far as first year engineering is concerned, it is 1,40,000, including tuition and development component. There is no difference in B and BTech, only the manner in which the institutes are run, particularly autonomous institutes are given freedom to offer BTech degrees. And affiliated institutes are, actually the degrees are conferred by the university only. Both BTech and BE degrees are conferred by the same university, but BTech degrees are only to make a difference in terms of what autonomous institutes and affiliated institute. Otherwise, there is no any difference in terms of degree, and there is no any hurdle for anywhere as far as your higher studies or even the career opportunities are concerned. So OBC is as far as SC, ST and OBCs are concerned, there is social welfare schemes are available of government. Those who are eligible in those particular categories, some fee component for OBC also may be reimbursed by the government. But there is a process of what form filling, applying for that particular CET cutoff in computer science is concerned is around, I think in centralized at 97 percentile. So any other queries? So as far as say, one question now came, what is interesting is the college providing offline education for engineering practicals during lockdown. Very good question. We are bound by government rules. As far as current circular is concerned, it's not allowed. But what we do is, particularly in all computer-related practicals are conducted in the same rigor manner as we used to do in offline mode also. But only in hardware practicals, particularly, that entire practical process is demonstrated in online mode to the students. Same type of readings are taken by the faculty and given to the students, and students need to do entire calculation. But over and above, if some projects in a smaller groups, if they wanted to do those projects and then the caseload is not, that positivity rate is not that high, but even then we allow our students to work in our campuses or in laboratories or projects, but in a smaller groups. all our ARC club students and all, because they're supposed to submit by July 30th or that 31st, we allowed those particular students to work, but by following more appropriately COVID norms. Because health is also equally important and we need to take care of ourselves. So with parents' consent, students needs to apply, and then based on their application, we permit them to work in campus during this particular period also. JEE main score also, I think it's considered, it's mainly for all India quota level, JEE is considered, and then state level, it is CET score. As far as internship is concerned, it is a mixed mode. Even students can write, and we support, we facilitate them getting for internship also. Both placement as well as individuals can work and then get the opportunities. And as far as opportunities are concerned, we have another opportunity I didn't touch up. Even we have international university internship opportunity for our students, wherein we allow them around 45 days more than our break sometimes, if they are actually availing that facility. But majority of our students are doing internship either in industry or anywhere as such, and then that we support. I think no more questions. If any questions, we can answer. If no more, and then we can conclude.
Dear participants, as we don't find any more questions posted by you all, I would like to thank all of you all who have joined with us today in this session. And I hope you will be part of the Agnel family. We hope to see you in Father C. Rodrigues Institute of Technology. Thank you for joining us. For any more details regarding our college, feel free to log into our website, that is www.fcrit.ac.in. I repeat, www.fcrit.ac.in. We also have a YouTube channel. You could also go into YouTube and check out our college. Thank you all for joining. We would like to conclude this session. Hope you all have a great day ahead. Thank you.